Hey kids, it's Miss Sasha. Welcome back to art. I'm super excited to be here today. Today we're going to talk about ways we can take care of our earth, specifically our water. We'll talk a little bit about recycling, and we're going to make an earth-loving landscape just like this. Okay? First off, what is a landscape? We've talked about this before. A landscape means an area of land as one can see it. This includes landforms like volcanoes, islands, valleys, rivers, all of the different landscapes like deserts. That's also a area of land, right? A landform. It also includes flora and fauna. Flora and fauna are things like flowers, trees, bushes, anything that makes our land look more lush and colorful, right? So that would be the flora and the fauna. And human activity would also be something we might find in a landscape. And that's something like maybe seeing someone running or swimming, hiking up a mountain, driving in a car. That's all called human activity. And that's part of the landscape. Or things like a built environment, right? What does built environment mean? Well, that's anything that a human would build, like a bridge, buildings, a fence, right? You might even see like a trolley drive by, cars. That's all part of a landscape if that's what you're painting in your landscape, right? If you're painting a city, you might see cars, people running. If you're painting a forest, you might see rivers, right? Or someone hiking, maybe a fire, right? So another thing that's really important in a landscape is the time of day. The time of day, right? So if your picture is in the morning, the noon, the night, it will look very different, right? If it's a sunrise or a sunset, very, very different. 12 noon or 12 p.m., that's very different in your landscape, right? And another thing that's very important in our landscape is the weather conditions. The weather conditions are also a part of a landscape. So if it's raining or snowing, very different, right? That would tell us if it's winter or summer. If there's lots of flowers, it would be spring. So these are important things that you need to have in your landscape, okay? The earth is something that we all have in common. How can we make our world a better place? How can we protect our water and keep our water fresh and clean? Well, these things start at our homes. There are things that you're not supposed to flush down your toilet or pour down your sink or your storm drains. All of these things are super important to know because putting the wrong thing down your toilet, your sink drain, and your storm drain can lead to flooding in your homes and gardens. That would be yucky. These items stick together and they block the pipes and the pumps, and they can cause clogs. They can cause sewer backups, things to overflow, plumbing problems. Then you have to call a plumber. It's very expensive. It can contaminate the water and in the streams and the rivers and the ponds, right? It's very important that we keep our drinking water safe. We have to have good, fresh drinking water, right? Nobody wants to drink dirty water, right? I don't want to bathe in dirty water. I certainly don't want to swim in dirty water. I don't want to go to the beach and see yucky water there because I want to get in the water. And you can't kayak or canoe if you're in dirty water. So these are all things we have to take care of, right? To keep our water and our earth safe, fresh, and clean. So we are going to learn more about this landscape, and in a minute we're going to draw this, okay? But let's talk a little bit about what you can put down your drain or your sink, right? Think about this. Anything that you can drink or any type of a liquid substance that's not like a chemical, right? So you can pour chocolate milk down the sink drain. You can pour orange juice. You can pour soda. You can pour just regular milk or tea, right? You can pour water down the drain. And you can even pour coffee, but not with the coffee grounds. So anything you can drink or pour is fine to go down your sink drain. So what do you think you cannot put down the drain or the sink? Anybody have any good guesses? Maybe turn to your neighbor. Can you think of something that would not be good to go down the drain, right? Any good guesses? Well, if you guessed coffee grounds, that's a good guess. It's too thick. When it dries, it gets really hard. It will clog your pipes. Eggshells. We can't drink eggshells, so that wouldn't be good. Grease from bacon. That gets really stuck in the pipes. Can cause it to overflow, right? Guess what else? You can't put any stickers, like on a banana or a bell pepper. No stickers down the drain, okay? Any type of medicine, cough syrup, any type of vitamins or old medicine, you can't put that down the drain. It dissolves and gets into our water, and it can make somebody else sick, right? Cleaners, like these up here, no good, no good. Paint, something like this. Paint gets really hard and it'll dry and it'll clog your drains. Things that harden when they do dry, things like flour and cookie dough and rice, all of that gets really hard and forms a clog. That's no good. Not down the drain. Remember, only things you can drink are good to put down the sink drain. So what do you think you can put down the storm drain? Do you know what a storm drain is? A storm drain is outside of your house, where there's those big holes on the side of the curb outside by the street. That's where a lot of water flows. So what do you think you can pour down the storm drain? Well, guess what? Only rain should go down the storm drain. Even if you're washing your car, it's not a good thing to pour the soapy water down the storm drain. It goes and flows around and contaminates other parts of our water. So what can you not put down the storm drain? Can you think of something? What about paint? No, probably not. How about chemicals? No way. That's gonna be bad for our drinking water. So car fluids, like things from your car, if you're changing your oil or something like that, or you're helping your dad or your uncle change the oil is not good to put down the storm drain. Chemicals, cleaners, yard clippings, like if you're cutting the grass and you rake everything up, it's not good to put that down the storm drain. It doesn't do good for our water and our sewer system, okay? Let's see. How about, what do you think you can flush down your toilet in your home and in public spaces, right? If you go to a movie theater or a museum, what are some things that you can flush down your toilet? Well, if you guess toilet paper, you are right. That is the only thing that you should flush down your toilet, is toilet paper. Toilet paper is made to break down and get soft and not cause clogging. So toilet paper is the only thing you should flush down your toilet and toilets in public. So maybe turn to your neighbor and tell them what you think you cannot flush down your toilet. I'll give you a second to think about it. You cannot flush dental floss down the toilet. Do not do that. Or even baby wipes, hair, plastic bags and diapers, detergent, paper towels. No good. Medicine, gum, that's all going to cause a clog. You have to call a plumber. It'll be expensive. It's no good. Even things that say flushable should not be flushed down the toilet, only toilet paper. So your toilet water joins the wastewater from other parts of your house, like your bathtub, the shower, the kitchen sink. And then all of that water from other houses in the neighborhood travels through the sewer pipes below our community, and the water is treated and returned to the rivers and seas. So if we're putting things in our water that aren't good and healthy for us, it eventually gets into the rivers and the seas and the lakes and all of the water sources that we want to go do fun things in, right? And these are the same bodies of water that our drinking water eventually comes from, right? So if there are contaminants in the water that enter the storm drain, then they too will be washed into our local waterways. And so we want to be really, really careful, right? So a little bit more. I want you to take a note of the curbs and the gutters near your house. The curbs are the cement pieces of at the end of your driveway or next to your sidewalk, right? And the gutters are at the top of your roof and it catches all that water. And I want you to look for those around your neighborhood and the ones that are near your home or your business. And if you see curbs and gutters, they likely lead to the storm drain nearby, and they transport anything that is washed or dumped from nearby properties into the closest waterways, right? That's a lot of water. So when it rains, all of that goes down into those storm drains, just like I said before, and goes under the city, right? So trash or litter or things that people throw on the ground can travel through our world's rivers and oceans, and they can accumulate on the beaches and in the forests and the mountains and in our air, causing all kind of yucky pollution, right? We don't want that. We have to breathe that. We have to drink that, right? So debris and litter and pollution, it harms our physical habitats like our deserts and our grasslands, right? That's a habitat. And the water transports all these polluted pieces of water right down our rivers and in our oceans. And this threatens things like the aquatic life, like turtles and dolphins and penguins, right? We want to take care of all of these precious animals and our beautiful land, right? And it all interferes with the human uses of the rivers, like with boating and swimming, right? And our marine and coastal environments like beaches and swamps are all affected by bad choices that humans make by pouring the wrong things down our drains and our sewers and our toilets and littering and not recycling and all of this stuff. All of that, if we could all change it a little bit, would make a huge difference, right? So I want you to look at my picture right here, and all you're going to need today is one piece of white paper and some assorted markers and crayons. Now is a good time to pause your video and gather all your supplies. Perfect. Once you have gathered all your supplies, put them down in front of you, and we're going to do a little hand warm up, not much, because we want to get started drawing our amazing piece, right? So wiggle your hands a little bit, maybe quack, quack, quack back and forth. Maybe do some windshield wipers, right? Maybe one, maybe the other. Maybe do a wavy line, other hand, right? What else could we do? How about a wrist twist, right? Maybe one little finger at a time. Perfect. I want you to put that one piece of paper down in front of you. I want you to put it tall or vertical, right? And we're going to start off with one marker. We're going to start off with a blue marker, and we're going to draw one little space on our earth-loving landscape at a time. And we're also going to talk a little bit about these pictures while we're doing that, okay? So the first thing we're going to draw is going to be our water, right? And it can be a wavy line. It doesn't have to be like an ocean line. We want to keep it closer to the bottom, okay? Watch. Closer to the bottom. I might just do a wavy line this time like that, right? Go ahead and do a blue wavy line towards the bottom of your paper. That's going to be our water, right? Some of the things that we, that's where all of this water flows to, is into our bodies of water. And we want to make sure that we are kind of recycling and taking care of our water. So we want to, look at me, I use a reusable water bottle, right? Instead of always buying plastic water bottles, I use a reusable water bottle. That way I don't have to have all that plastic that ends up in our water and in our oceans and stuff where animals can be harmed by them, okay? So I went ahead and put a few fish, look, a little oval and then a triangle in my water. Go ahead and add a few fish in our water. We don't want them biting those plastic water bottles, right? Even a straw. Look at this straw that I have. It's a reusable straw. Look, see? I don't even have to use a plastic straw anymore. I can use my reusable straw, right? And then animals won't get them caught in their wings or in their beaks, right? By using this reusable straw. Okay. You can go ahead and add some swirls. I bet y'all are so good at swirls. Find some tiny spots in the water where you can add some swirls. Perfect. That's our water, right? Some other things we probably don't want to use a lot of, if you can, is, look, what about these plastic bags? You see them everywhere. Instead of using a plastic bag, you can use reusable bags, right? I bring these to the grocery store instead of using plastic bags. Then I don't have to have all that extra plastic that's going to end up in our environment, right? Okay, our water. Go ahead and put your blue away. And the next color I want you to grab is going to be, let's go ahead and grab the green. We'll make a line above our water. It looks like it's about halfway. Watch, right here. We're going to work on this part of the sand or in the land right here. So once you make that green line, go ahead and get your orange marker. One thing we can also do to help our environment is all of our masks that we've been wearing, you can have them made out of cloth instead of the disposable ones. Just remember that when you throw the disposable ones away, to go ahead, look, and cut the little cord so the disposable masks don't get stuck in an animal's beak or wrapped around his little flipper or in his wing. That's something good that we can do with our masks, is by cutting that little cord, okay? So this is going to be our land, okay? And in our land, I also put some swirls. And you could put some little circles. Maybe this is sand or beach, right? A few little dots. Ta-da! Sand and swirls. Give you a little minute to do that. While you're doing that, let's see. It is against the law to litter and to dump things in drains. It's not good. It's against the law. And let me think. What are 2 things that plants need in order to grow? Well, they need water and sunlight. And they would prefer good, delicious, pollutant-free water. Don't you think? That's what I like. Okay, let's go ahead with our green. And we're going to put this line, look, across. This is going to be our forest up here, okay? It's going to be our forest. Go ahead and put that line. And all I did was draw some little evergreen trees, right? Little triangles. You can go ahead and color them in. You can do as many as you want. You can put them next to each other. But fill in your forest, right? You don't want to go to a forest that doesn't have a lot of good, healthy trees. Little triangles. I'll give you a minute to do that. Let's see. What uses the most water in your household, in your home? What do you think uses the most water? The dishwasher? The washing machine? Nope. It's flushing. Flushing your toilet uses the most water in your household. Okay, you've got your little trees. Once you have your trees, you could do some little zigzag lines. Little tiny ones. Over here, I just did little lines like this, but you could do little zigzag lines. We're making our forest lush, right? Our flora and our fauna in our landscape. Okay. Go ahead and get your brown marker, and you can now add some trunks. They're just little tiny rectangles. I'll give you a little minute to do that. How much water does our body need every day? How much water, how many glasses of water do we need to drink a day? Does anybody know? The answer is 8 glasses or 2 liters every single day. That's what keeps our body hydrated, okay? So in our forest, something we don't want to litter in our forest, well, we don't want to litter anything in our forest, but something really important is cigarettes can cause forest fires. So if someone's littering and throwing a cigarette out the window, no good. No good. It can cause a forest fire. And a lot of people dump like old car tires in our forests, and it's just yucky. No one wants to go on a hike and have to step over an old tire, right? That's no good. And tires, when they get wet with water, what comes out off of the tire is not good for our earth and our soil and our water. Okay? Perfect. Let's go ahead and get our purple. We're going to make some mountains. So Mount Everest is one of the tallest mountains in the world, and sometimes it's known to people as a garbage dump because people hike up to the top of Mount Everest, and they throw things out of their bag, things that they don't want to carry down because it's a hard hike. It's so tall, right? So they don't want to carry all their stuff out, and that's makes a lot of trash on that beautiful tall mountain, right? So there might be cans up here on the mountain, all kinds of things you don't want to carry, maybe an old tent someone dumps out on the mountain. That's no good, right? If you bring something into the forest or the beach, you need to take it back with you. You don't want to leave trash there for somebody else. Let's go ahead and put some mountains. Look, a big triangle. Maybe another one. Maybe this one's off to the side, right? Perfect. And I did some snow caps on my mountain, so I did some wavy lines. Good deal. Got your mountains on there? Let's see. How does our body lose water each day? What were some ways that your body might, use up the water that for hydration? What might happen? Probably if you're sweating, like when you're playing in a soccer game or a baseball game and you run, and you sweat. When you get off the sideline, you drink all your water, right? You get really, really thirsty. Breathing even dehydrates you, right? Crying, all your tears falling out of your eyes, right? That's water, right? You need to replenish that, right? And also going to the restroom, that also makes you lose a lot of water. That's how you lose water every day. Sweating, breathing, crying, and going to the restroom. Okay? All right, let's do a sunshine. I went ahead and used orange, and I put a nice big sun and some little sun rays. See where you can fit a sun. If yours isn't have space to be so big, it's okay. It doesn't have to be that big. No big deal, right? Okay. So the next thing we're going to get is our blue crayon. We're going to color in our water here. But wait, I have one thing about the air. Something that pollutes our air besides like big buildings, right? That have a lot of pollutants coming out of their big smokestacks. That's yucky. Something that really pollutes our earth are balloons. When someone does like a big balloon release and everybody has a balloon, maybe they're celebrating something or they're wanting to let the balloons off for a big party, right? All those balloons go up in the air, they pop, and they float right back down into the water. And so the animals will eat these balloons, and then the cord on the balloons will wrap around their little paws or their little claws, right, or their wings. So there are other things we can do instead of doing a balloon release. You can light candles, you can clap, right? You can eat cupcakes, things like that you can celebrate, right? We talked about masks, having to cut the cord on those reusable masks, or you can get one that you can just wash in the washing machine and use over and over again. We can't flush stickers down our toilet or in our sink. It clogs it up. Paint is no good for our storm drains, our sink, or our toilet, right? Chemicals, eggs, and these that hold our Coke can or a Sprite, these 6-pack holders, right? They get stuck on the animals' beaks and stuff. Before you throw those away, you should cut all the circles so they can get out of them and they don't get stuck, okay? All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to color our water. I color lightly, right? We want to still see our marker swirls. I'm going to color around my little fish. Go ahead and use your blue crayon. Color around your little fish. All the way around. I'll give you plenty time to do it. Go ahead and color in all your water, your healthy water, right? What is a word that we use to describe when a person is feeling really thirsty? They can't catch a breath because they're so thirsty. Do you know what that word is? That word is... Sometimes people get dehydrated. That means they have no hydration. They've lost all the water in their body, probably from sweating or breathing or crying, right? Just like we talked a minute ago. So go ahead and color your water. And while you have your blue, you can also color your sky. You can color right over your sun rays, right behind your mountains. Perfect. What room of your house uses the most water each day? I'll give you a hint. Flushing. Probably your bathroom, right? Yep, you're right. Okay, let's go ahead and get our yellow, and we can color in our sun. Go ahead and get your sun all colored in. How many gallons of water does an average American use in a 5-minute shower? 5 minutes. You know that gallon of milk in the plastic container? It takes 30 gallons of water to take one shower. That's a lot of water. And how many gallons of water do you think will run down the drain if you leave the faucet on for 1 minute, like when you're brushing your teeth, right? So when I brush my teeth, when I'm brushing it, I turn the water off and I brush. And when I'm ready to rinse, then I turn the water back on. If you don't, it uses 5 gallons of water. So try to turn your faucet off when you're brushing. Okay, yellow, we can go ahead and color in our sand. Go ahead and color in your sand. Y'all are doing a great job. Take your time. Let me see. I'm going to fill in these white spots. Perfect. Good. The next color I want you to get is your green. And you can color in your forest. If you want to use a light green, you can. If you want to use a dark green, that's fine. You can color right over your trees, right over your tree trunks. And you can even take your green and add some dark spaces, maybe under your trees. Good. How's that look? Pretty good. All right, we have one more thing to color in, and that is our purple mountains, okay? They're in the very far background of our landscape. That's why they're a little bit small. We know our mountains are not the same size as our fish in the ocean, but our fish are very close, and our mountains are far, far away in our landscape. And look, I'm not coloring in my white snow caps because I want them to be white, right? I have 3 mountains. If you have 4 mountains, color them all in. All right, here's my little mountains. If you haven't completely colored everything in, that's fine. You can do that in a later time, right? Because today was really great. We learned about taking care of our water supply, what not to flush down our toilets, our storm drains, and our sinks, right? We also talked about how trash and littering affects each layer of our landscape. We came up with some simple solutions for making our earth a safer, better, and cleaner place for all living things, right? Remember this, that you can leave only footprints and take only pictures when you go on hiking or onto the beach. Take those pictures. Leave everything else, right? See you next week.